our meeting is where we celebrate our achievements and acknowledge individuals and groups who make the Valley a special place. We are going to begin with the presentation of the Charles H. Flynn Humanitarian Award, the oldest and most prestigious community service award in the Valley. Before I present the award, I'd like to recognize several past Flynn recipients who are with us here tonight. Would Bill Bassett, Julius Douglas, Bill Nimmons, Mary Pepe, Dave Rifkin, Norman Santa, and Janice Sheehy please stand to be recognized. Now I'm going to ask our own Volunteer Center Director, Pat Tarasovic, to make the presentation of this year's award.
It is my honor to present the Charles H. Flynn Humanitarian Award to Diane Stroman. I am humbled that you've asked me to present you with this prestigious award. One of the many words and phrases to describe a humanitarian is someone who is concerned with improving people's lives. I think you will agree with me that Diane's life of caring, kindness, and compassion is indeed noteworthy of a true humanitarian. I would like to share just a few short stories that demonstrate Diane's caring. I first met Diane in 1993 when she began her work at Teen. I always associated Diane with Toys for Tots, so when I would get calls from her asking people to help out for this project, of course I was really happy to give her volunteers. I would see firsthand my first look at Diane working tirelessly with volunteers to help make this project a huge success. Any time that I would call her, when someone would call United Way and we would have a need, Diane was always there, and her first response was, "What do you need?" She always came through. In 1997, during a Week of Caring project at the YMCA, when we renovated 29 men's residence rooms, Diane joined a crew of volunteers, and it was at this time that she learned sponge painting and stenciling, and I believe took it back to Team, and actually gave a great facelift to Team. But more importantly, I remember Diane was very, very busy at her job at the time. And I remember the conversation of saying, "Diane, that's okay, I know that you have so many things to do." And she said, "No, it's important to me that I help out." Diane saw the opportunity to improve someone's life, and she was there. Diane was a member of the Valley All-America City Delegation, and what a team that was. It seems like just yesterday we were walking the streets of Philadelphia. Diane, myself, and Jack Rivas, that particular night we were chaperoning the youth. I remember something Diane said to me. She said, "You know, Patty Ann," she calls me Patty Ann, it's really not. "It's really important to me to be involved with youth, to be there for them, help them, and guide them." I always remembered that. I don't think she ever had to tell me that. She lives her life like that. Over lunch last week, I said to Diane, "I've read your bio, and I need to tell you how I'm just in awe of everything that you've done. If I were to ask you just to name perhaps one significant project, what would that be?" And she paused for a moment, and she said she'd have to say that it was her involvement with the Julian A. Taylor Scholarship Program. You see, she's been a part of that program for nearly 20 years. She's very proud of this involvement with helping youth. It's a great impact to help kids go to college, Diane says. If she wonders if she's made a difference in the lives of youth, knowing Diane, I think we all know the correct answer. Diane was also a youth leader, the NAACP organization. Diane led the first ever historical black college tour. She sees her involvement in all of the boards and programs that she's a part of as an effort to take information back to her community and share it. I couldn't complete this speech without mentioning Diane's aunts and very special people in her life, like Naomi, who's her second godmother, who are among the many, many people that are here tonight. For all of you who know Diane, you know that the framework of her life is made up of faith, family, and friends. They are the fabric woven through everything about Diane. One of my favorite Maya Angelou quotes that best describes Diane and how she lives her life is, "I would like to be known as an intelligent woman, a courageous woman, a loving woman, a woman who teaches by being. Diane, you are a woman who leads by example, whose courageous spirit encourages. Diane, the way you live your life truly is an inspiration. I am honored to present you as a true humanitarian. I'm very, very honored for you this evening with the 2007 Charles H. Flynn Award. Diane Stroman."
Thank you very much, and good evening. I would like to thank Pat for not only being my presenter this evening, but for also being my real true friend. Thank God, Jack, she was only given 3 minutes. The one thing Pat and I surely have in common is a gift of gab. Thank you, Pat. I truly cherish our friendship. I would like to first give honor to my God for allowing me to be in the midst of you this evening, because without him in my life, I could not accomplish the things that I do. I would like to thank Richard Knoll for nominating me, the Valley United Way, and the selection committee for bestowing upon me this most prestigious Charles H. Flynn Humanitarian Award. What a humbling experience it is to be amongst award winners like Bill Nimmons, David Rifkin, Julius Douglas, Bill Bassett, Jan Sheehy, and the late, great Joe Pagliaro Sr., and 30 other distinguished award recipients. Many people have asked me why I get involved or have made the comments, you're involved in everything, or they'll say, I didn't realize you're involved in so many activities. Oh my goodness, you're always helping somebody. And my response is always the same. Isn't that what we should be doing, helping others? I grew up in an environment where helping each other was just a natural thing to do. When you grow up in a close-knit neighborhood, where the norm was everybody watches out for each other, being involved is not a task, but a way of life. I truly appreciate Richard Knoll and the team board of directors for hiring me back in 1993, allowing me the opportunity to work in a community in which I live, and the opportunity to give back to the community through my volunteerism. Richard, I thank you very, very much. As a youth growing up in the Valley, there were always community people who took time with the youth. There were individuals like Mamie London, Jules Douglas, Alfonso Smith, and the late Lena Thomas, who worked faithfully with the youth in the Copper City Elks drill team, instilling discipline and perseverance in the young men and women within our neighborhood. And I am so honored this evening to have Mrs. Mamie London here with us, who over the last couple of years has dealt with health issues, but the Lord has blessed her to celebrate her 80th birthday this past year. I would like to ask her to stand. Give her a round of applause to say thank you. Thank you for investing in me and in me and our community. Thank you. The late Reverend Julian A. Taylor and Bishop Red were religious leaders who helped motivate many youth, guiding us to doors of opportunity, and when needed help, helped us to open those doors. Then there's the community members of the Julian A. Taylor Scholarship Committee, named after the late Reverend Taylor, who have worked tirelessly over the last 25 years, raising funds to keep the doors of opportunity open for African American students in Ansonia. The JAT Scholarship Program provides annually a $5,000 scholarship to the highest ranking senior graduating from Ansonia High School entering a four-year college, as well as the JAT Scholars provided highest ranking students from grade 3 to 11 with financial incentives. To date, the committee members have distributed over $121,000. $121,000, and these are just community members who have gotten together. And here's some members that have members who stand, and the chair, Evelyn Lindsay, is here with us. This is Evelyn, would you stand? Mrs. Anderson also, and other committee members, if you're here, just to give this. Opportunity to thank Attorney Jamie Cohen and Dominic Thomas, who so graciously made a donation to the JAT Scholarship Program through the Valley Foundation in my honor of this award. Jamie and Dominic, thank you very, very much. Then I have been blessed for two wonderful aunts. Everybody knows aunties. My Aunt Zena, many of you know as Mrs. Anderson, and my Aunt Helen, Mrs. Butler, who after a valiant fight with illness passed away this past November and has left a huge hole in our hearts. Both have been my major cheerleaders, no matter what committee or project I'm working on. They have been and still are an inspiration to me since childhood. They were responsible for recruiting me into several volunteer projects, either with the church or the community projects, especially my Aunt Zena. Whatever she gets in, I know I have to be a part of. These are just a few of the individuals who have been an inspiration to me, and I will be forever grateful for the time they invested in me and my generation. And as I matured and had the opportunity to work with many of you throughout the Valley, I have been influenced by so many like Ernie Louise, who I nicknamed the Energizer Buddy, and her twin, Albertuzzi. Bill Nimmons, Naomi Wallace, Jack Walsh, Greg Johnson, Harriet Parks, Jimmy Ryan, Bev Tidmarsh, Dot Mills, Joan Kaiser, Evelyn Lindsay, Pauline Lounsbury, and my buddy David Grant, and many others too numerous to name, who give your volunteer time and resources to the community. It's funny, I no longer have to worry about my Aunt Zena recruiting me into community projects. It's Bill Nimmons I now have to worry about. In 1 year, Bill nominated me to two board of directors. One being the Boys and Girls Club, while serving on the Ansonia Board of Education. He knows my passion for the Ansonia Project. Bill, I thank you for having the confidence in me, but I'm telling you now, enough already. It's not easy being involved in the community, since it involves being away from home several nights a week and sometimes the weekends. But I have a great support network at home. I'm going at this time to ask my husband John, and yes to all of you, I do have a husband, and my daughter Courtney to stand at this time, so you'll know who they are. I want to say thank you very much for understanding my need to be involved and having patience with me. I love and appreciate you both. And unfortunately, my son Eric, who lives in New Jersey, could not be here. There are many of my immediate and extended family members, team co-workers, my pastor Edward Barnes, my church family, and friends that are here this evening that have continuously been my support network as well. Many times I have to call on them to support whatever project I may be working on, and they are always there. And at this time, can I just have all of you to stand so I can publicly say thank you. And I appreciate all that you do very, very much. You know, in these economic times, volunteering is so needed in our community. The crisis of our children and families are escalating. As you read about and meet some of the children and families in your immediate community who need your help, just take a moment and put yourself in their place. Imagine you or your spouse being elderly and not being able to get enough to eat because you need to balance having to pay your rent or paying for prescriptions. Imagine your child's hungry and you cannot pay for food, or your child is ill and you cannot find health care that takes your insurance, or you have no insurance. Imagine losing your job and having no income, having your unemployment compensation run off, not being able to pay your mortgage or rent. Imagine having to rely on a food bank for food after you've worked all your life, or having to sleep in a shelter with strangers. If you take the time to imagine this, perhaps you can also take the time to do for them what you would want a fellow citizen to do for you. For those of you who are not involved, I challenge you to get involved. Donate your time and resources. Take the time to let someone know that you care. And as I close, and Dave, yes, I'm closing. As I close, I just wanted to share words from an editorial column I read last evening in the New Haven Register, written by Catherine, Italian name, anyway. Titled, "The Joy You Spread Returns with Great Abundance." Excerpts from the column read, "However, all too often when we have a need or a problem, we focus on ourselves. But we can overcome our trouble by helping someone else. When we generously reach out to fellow human beings, we get our mind off of our own difficulties. Therefore, in challenging times, persevere, stay full of hope, and be a blessing to others. Let us share our time, talents, and impart even a kind word. We must pray for one another, giving each other hope and encouragement. And one day, our sincere gifts will come back to us. As we meet someone else's needs, God will always meet ours. When we make things happen for others, God will make it happen for us. When we help to bring others' dreams to pass, God will cause our dreams to transpire. We reap what we sow, and our acts of genuine kindness and unconditional love does not go unnoticed. Receiving this most prestigious award this evening affirms the fact that it is truly a blessing to help others. Because of all of you here this evening, you certainly have been a blessing to me. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Diana. Honor well deserved. It's been my pleasure to work with you over the past years, and I'm very happy to see you honored here tonight. Thank you. We're actually going to ask you to come back up at this point. We have an additional honor that we are pleased to announce. Our good friends, I'm sorry, back up a little bit here. We have an additional presentation to make to you, and I'd like to invite the members of our state legislative delegation, whom we introduced earlier this evening, to come forward to make the presentation.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a privilege to be up here tonight, and certainly we'd like to thank the United Way for all they do. You know, they're kind of like part of the glue of the valley. And that carries on from, I don't know how many of you in the room knew Charlie Flynn. Charlie Flynn was the editor of the Valley newspaper, The Evening Sentinel. And he was a real square shooter, and he did so many things very quietly to enhance the activities in the valley. And so, Diane, believe me, you're joining some very sophisticated company, and as well deserved. Some of the rest of the delegation was here earlier, but there are many commitments this time of the year for everybody. So, Senator Sullivan and I would like to present this citation. I'm going to read all the names because you know we're politicians. Introduced by Representative Collardis, Representative Green, myself, Representative Miller, Senator DiPasella, Representative Gentile, Representative Willis, Representative Labriola, Senator Crisco, and Senator Lou DeLuca. Be it hereby known to all that the Connecticut General Assembly hereby offers its sincerest congratulations to Diane Stroman in recognition of your receiving the 2007 Charles Flynn Humanitarian Award. Currently the Vice President of Development at Team Incorporated Diane has been a very active and dedicated member of the community, serving in a variety of positions throughout the Valley. Her record of achievement is truly remarkable, and her service to the Valley community is exemplary. We join together to offer our congratulations to Diane on this award, given on the 24th day of April in the Capitol. President Donald Williams, President of the Senate, Speaker Jim Zeman, and Secretary of State Susan Bice. Diane, thank you for all you do, and for each of us here in this room tonight, as she introduced her family and her village, so to speak, all of those that volunteer, we thank those who are at home doing the other things because it's very important. And thank you so much for it.
We also have one additional honor for Diane that we are pleased to announce tonight. Our good friends and partners at the Valley Community Foundation would like to acknowledge Diane's award with a special grant of $1,000 to be directed to the charities of her choice. Diane has directed that those dollars be split between the Julian Taylor Scholarship Fund and the Ansonia Project of the Boys and Girls Club of the Lower Naugatuck Valley and the Valley YMCA. Congratulations, Diane.